Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Thursday, October 17th, 2024 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I lean into the flow of and recognize the peace of dancing to my own rhythm. And here we are, full moon in Aries. Whew. And this full moon is asking us to get in touch with our own natural rhythm, to be our own truest self that we can engage in. Let's get out some of the important details. The full moon reaches its peak at 4:26 a.m. Pacific time. Chances are you're already feeling the influx of the full moon. I just ran outside to take a picture of it rising because it's gorgeous outside. But here we are. We're feeling these energies. We have this full moon making some strong connections right around the full moon. So we have the moon connecting to Mars, and we have the moon connecting to the sun. That's what a full moon is when we have the sun and the moon in opposition. And then we have the moon moving on through the day and connecting to Pluto. So both Mars and Pluto add a little oomph, a little fire to the moon. I also have to say that before or after I put this scope out, we still have the moon connecting to Jupiter and connecting to Chiron as well on its journey to fullness. So it's definitely making a lot of connections in this journey. Now, what also makes this astro energy interesting, if I'm looking at the whole chart, is we have Venus finishing up in Scorpio, hanging out at that 29th degree, connecting with Pluto as well during this full moon. And that definitely adds a little oomph, a little kapow energy to this full moon experience. So a full moon energy can bring up emotions. And Aries, or any fire sign, can definitely bring fiery emotions. Sometimes it's inspired and creative and like on fire in the funnest way, and sometimes it's angry and frustrated and punching air or anything else that gets in its way kind of energy. And so be aware of that, especially as it is connecting to very emotionally reactive Mars in Cancer and Pluto, which can bring the power and control, push and pull energies up in all of this. Now, what I love is that we're actually building a yod, finger of God pointing at Venus and Libra, being like, inner peace, find that inner balance. Dancing to the beat of your own drum is probably really potent medicine for this full moon in Aries. I have to say, it's really funny. I was shuffling and the Hermit card flew out of these cards. And the cats left a Cat Chaos card. They left the Moon card earlier, which I discussed in my Patreon group. But I was like, what else is right here? And I turned over the Hermit in this deck as well. A crash test dummy, which that's a little interesting. It's a little bit of an interesting energy. So taking a little time for yourself. No man is an island. We're not meant to live as hermits, but to take a little time to be in your own energy will definitely serve you in this full moon, especially if you're feeling the punching the air kind of feelings. Moon square Mars happens at 1:44 a.m. The full moon happens at 4:26 a.m. This is Pacific time. We have Venus and Pluto in a sextile at 5:30 a.m. Pacific time, and then Moon Pluto in a square at 12:26 p.m. And then Venus and the moon both shift between 12:30 and 1 Pacific time. So the day's kind of firing things off and then preparing for that full moon over feel, which might feel a little different. We'll dig into that as well. This full moon in Aries is just another piece of the puzzle helping us figure out who we are and and be the best we can be at it. And I think that so much of living is peeling off the various forms of conditioning that we've taken on to be acceptable in our families, in society, in school, in church, in whatever. When people are like, don't do that, do this. Don't do that, do this. Some of those things may be aligned with us, but some of those things really are covering up our light. And currently, I think one of the most potent transits, or two of the most potent transits, are the North Node and Chiron in Aries, trying to help support us in figuring out who we are. So this full moon just helps us peel through even more of these layers. I have to say that as a strong fire sign, I have some strong fire energy in my chart. I definitely tone down my fire a lot. And that's a lot of the conditioning. You're too boisterous. Don't do that. Don't be like that. The full scope of my energy maybe is a lot to take it sometimes, right? So I've spent a lot of my life conditioning me to tone down the flames. Keep them a little bit lower. With this strong fire energy, I have been feeling that move through me, and it feels good. It's not punching the walls kind of fire. It's definitely inspired and creative. But notice what you're feeling in this. Are you feeling some of that fire running through you? We're all elemental beings. We have the fire, the water, the air, the earth, and the stars, all making us up. So what does the fire turn on for you within yourself? And how is it showing you how you can move forward in different ways if you can peel through some of these layers? Now, again, this is not necessarily the angry self, because there is potential for that anger to rip through in this energy. A lot of times if we're feeling the angry self, it is due to other layers that need to be looked at. The angry self is not the you self. So keep that in mind as these energies move through. If you're like, well, maybe I'm just angry. Yeah, it's pretty easy to be in these astro energies. But that anger is an indication. It is trying to show you something that needs to be moved through, emotioned through. That Scorpio piece. Now, Venus in Scorpio at 29 degrees. Both Aries and Scorpio are ruled by Mars. Scorpio is also ruled by Pluto in addition. So as Venus and Pluto are connecting, hopefully it's empowering you where you need to put up boundaries. One of the things that keeps running through my head when I talk about anger is it feels like there's a lot of frustrations around the energy of lack of respect that could be coming up. And it's always easy to look out there, but can you look within here too? Because I think when we aren't honoring who we are, that's also a way that we aren't really necessarily respecting the fullness of our soul, right? So watch for that, because that's definitely coming up through this Venus-Pluto connection. There also could be releases of this frustration through relating. So the Hermit feels really nice, but through relating, we may have some Thunderbolt moments. Now, to be fair, this could be you relating to God, Spirit, Universe. This could be you relating to yourself. There's a lot of ways that this Thunderbolt energy can come up, but we're definitely feeling it. It's interesting because a few weeks ago I was doing some kind of research, and I learned that the Thunderbolt card used to be called the House of God card. And when we have these Thunderbolt moments, it is a God reckoning. It is a connection reckoning in our relationship to God, Spirit, Universe. So keep that in mind if you are feeling that Thunderbolt. Where do you need to connect more to Creator energy? This is King of fire energy, and this energy is running through us strongly in this full moon. So love this. Participation card also showed up. Another fire card, 4 of fire. Remembering the elemental layers we are. Fire, earth, air, water, ether, stars. have to include the stars and remembering to include them in your body, mind, spirit, soul, and heart energies moving forward. Also have the Three of Fire, the experiencing card. And the experiencing card is one that I'm usually like, there's some hard lessons in this, but you will grow from this. So if you are experiencing challenging feelings in this astro, it's okay, there is growth. Now I do want to mention Venus and Sagittarius. I think we'll dig into it a little deeper in tomorrow's scope, because it's going to be 0 through most of the day. And so we're going to feel kind of that grace is gone. So might add to the testy energy of this full moon. But Venus in Sagittarius has a lust for freedom. And so we're going to be embracing freedom in regards to our yin. And hopefully, I don't know, letting our yin fire dance a little bit incoming with that Venus in Sagittarius energy. But like I said, it's going to be 0, so we might feel a little graceless. Moon into Taurus, I think, is going to be nice and grounding. That happens at 1 p.m. That's going to be 0 too. So we're going to feel for sure like a little dip in the middle of the day. Why I said that our full moon over might be a little different. I think our full moon over might feel a little tired and wired because we have the Sun and Uranus building into their in conjunction. So like I said, there's that yod that's happening. Uranus and Neptune are feeding in, pointing at the Sun in Libra. But the Sun and Uranus connecting can definitely stimulate the nervous system. So watch for that in this energy. I want to finish up. I pulled a self-sorcery card, which is so perfect, and the divine abundance card. So the divine abundance is detachment. Ride a crow. That sounds fun. Fly away on a crow. With detachment, you finally feel whole inside, with or without the fulfillment of a particular dream. Ironically, that's often when it is fulfilled. So it's kind of letting go and letting God. Live your rhythm. This helped inspire the energy mantra for today. So the self-sorcery says, it will rarely, if ever, serve you to go with somebody else's flow. You came here to be you. When you listen to and trust your own drum beat, the rhythm that's unique to you, you'll begin to realize that everything's unfolding as it should. That's not to say you should sit back and let life happen to you, but when you trust your own rhythm, life becomes a collaboration. You know when to create, rest, nourish, be in action, and you trust that it may not be in sync with others, but you're in sync with yourself. Your dance and your song, your magic and your medicine. So, perfect card for this full moon energy. Please take it easy on yourself and others as those inner fires move through. This can be very spicy and aggro energy, but it can also feed in beautifully to your personal creativity. So, book a reading, email me, mimiclark@gmail.com, and the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and remember who you are. For you, as your favorite, best you self, are the solution. Namaste.